Chapter 3, Mishnah 10. The next question posed by Rabbi Akiva contains working on Shabbos. In Shabbos chapter 7, verse 2, there is a list of 39 primary activities that may not be done on Shabbos: planting, cooking, building, etc. Each of these activities is called an Av Malacha, or just an Av. An activity that resembles an Av, which is also forbidden by the Torah, is called a Tolda. Rabbi Akiva said, I asked Rabbi Eliezer, if someone unintentionally performs many malachos, i.e. the same Av or the same Tolda many times, on many Shabbosos, or if someone unintentionally performs many Toldos that are similar to one Av Malacha on a single Shabbos, and in both cases he did it all in one lapse of awareness, what is the law? Is he obligated to bring only one chatas for all of them, or one separate chatas for each and every one? Rabbi Eliezer replied, in both of these cases, he is obligated to bring a separate chatas for each and every one. In the first case, the same malacha on many Shabbos, we can derive that this is the law through a kal v'chomer, from the law that a man who cohabits with 5 nidos must bring 5 chatas offerings. If in the case of the nida, where there are not many ways of sinning, and so there are not many ways of becoming liable to bring chatas offerings, for it is possible to violate the prohibition of nida only by the act of cohabitation, and yet one is obligated to bring a separate chatas for each and every act. Then, in the case of Shabbos, where there are many ways of sinning and many ways of becoming liable to bring chatas offerings, for there are 39 avos, each of which has many toldas, is it not logical that one is obligated to bring a separate chatas for each and every act? Rabbi Akiva relates that he rejected Rabbi Eliezer's kal v'chomer. I said to him, no, your kal v'chomer is not valid if you say regarding a nida that a man is obligated to bring a separate chatas for each act. That is because the law of nida has 2 warnings, i.e. prohibitions in the Torah. For the man is warned against cohabiting with a nida, and the nida is warned against cohabiting with him. The Torah prohibits both the man and the nida to cohabit with the other, and both of them are obligated to bring a chatas for doing so. Therefore, it can be argued that just as each nida with whom a man cohabits has to bring her own chatas, so too a man must bring a separate chatas for each nida with whom she cohabits. Can you say the same regarding Shabbos, where there is only one warning, i.e. prohibition? For it is people who are warned against violating Shabbos, not the other way around. Thus, the fact that the man who cohabits with several nidos is liable for each one cannot be used to prove that someone who desecrated several Shabbosos is liable for each one. Rabbi Akiva cites Rabbi Eliezer's response to this point. He said to me, the case of one who cohabits with minors who are nidos will show that it makes no difference whether there are 2 prohibitions or only one. For there is only one warning, i.e. prohibition with regard to minors who are nidos. Since a man is prohibited to cohabit with a nida who is a minor, but she is not prohibited to cohabit with him because she is underage. Yet he, i.e. a man who cohabits with several nidos who are minors, is obligated to bring a separate chatas for each and every one. This shows that it is not the double prohibition that makes a man who sinned with many nidos obligated to bring a chatas for each one, because there is no double prohibition in this case, and yet the man must bring a chatas for each nida who is a minor. To this, Rabbi Akiva responded, I said to Rabbi Eliezer, no, your proof for minors is not valid. If you say regarding a man who cohabits with minors who are nidos that he is obligated to bring a separate chatas for each one, despite the fact that there is only one prohibition, that is because although there are not 2 prohibitions now, while they are still minors, there will be 2 prohibitions in the future when they become adults. Can you say the same regarding Shabbos, which does not have 2 prohibitions now or in the future? My refutation of your kal v'chomer thus stands. The law of Shabbos cannot be derived from the law of nida, because nida has a double prohibition, i.e. the prohibition applies not only to the man, but also to the nida. If not now, then in the future, while Shabbos has only one prohibition. Rabbi Akiva cites Rabbi Eliezer's reply. He said to me, the case of one who sins with an animal will show that it makes no difference whether or not there is a double prohibition. Regarding the sin of bestiality, there is only one prohibition. For only a person is prohibited to engage in bestiality, not the animal. And yet a person who sins with many animals must bring a separate chatas for each one. To this, Rabbi Akiva responded, I said to Rabbi Eliezer, To me, the case of cohabiting with an animal is like the case of performing malacha on Shabbos. That is, just as I do not know whether someone who performs the same malacha on several Shabboses must bring a chatas for each one, I also do not know whether one who cohabits with several animals must bring a chatas for each one.